Hello, this is Des with The Random Hell. We're here with Larry.
I'm sorry.
We're here with Larry Nemecek. If you want to introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, guys. Hi. This is the nicest Random Hell I've ever been in, but this is great, yeah. This is Larry Nemecek, born in Norman, graduate of Noble High, lived in Slaughterville. I have my Okie cred, graduate of East Central University, took one graduate class at OU, 12-year employee, editor, reporter of the Norman Transcript, founder of Thundercon, original committee crew of Soonercon here in Central Oklahoma. Fought for pop culture nerddom before it was cool. Yes, sirree, Cat Bob. And moved to L.A. and escaped it all in 1994. And worked in Trekland ever since.
And this is Dirty Patriarchy. We give everyone a little bit more trouble and a little bit of more woe going around. And we are doing so much with this interview. But we're going to be calling this one the Dead Dog, because that's what's usually referred to when a con's over and we grabbed Larry.
we don't need the PETA protest now. We don't literally mean dead dog. It's just an old phrase. It's just an old phrase.
This is Wonton, rare host. I'm the buzzed one here. And we have our guest, Larry Nemecek. All right, I'm going to give it back to Des.
So, Larry, tell us a little bit about what you're doing at Soonercon.
Well, right now I'm like chilling out, man, because it's like the dead dog, you know? And, no. It's car noises. No, it's since they rebooted Soonercon, like in 06, 07, they've had me back. I don't know, I'm like the lucky charm of Oklahoma fandom or something from LA that, I mean, Leonard and Jerry and Leonard and Aslan, all of them are nice enough to have me come back. And if I can help, if they're trying to reach out to actors or people in LA, I'll try to help do that. But basically, I guess they think I'm a bridge to people who have gone on and doing stuff, but come back and know all our old Okie peeps and all of our fandom friends. But I made the mistake up until a couple years ago of just coming back and having this old home week. And a couple years ago, I'm like, no, there's so much, like, I need to get out and meet all the new people, the fresh blood. And because there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And there's a lot of indie film and a lot of things going on that are worth knowing. And you know, it's cool to have people co-promote both ways, like you guys are doing. And just knowing what's going on back here. And since I've been working on my documentary, The Con of Wrath, eventually I would like to we'll probably have 4 or 5 different kinds of premieres. But one of them should be like hometown premiere or something or whatever. So it'd be nice to know what's going on around here. So, but it's just good. And it's cool watching Soonercon grow every year and not stagnate. Because to tell you the truth, there are a lot of lit cons around the country that are old school cons that are drying up and they're blowing away and they're kind of befuddled by all the pop culture, Big Bang Theory, Comic-Con type boom that everybody else is having, and they haven't adapted and changed. And Soonercon's really made a pivot. Right. And I mean, the old, Leonard from the old guard and Aslan and Matthew and all the younger ones. It's really like a real vibrant mix, and they're bringing in new people all the time, old and new, and it's really cool, and they're not dying off. But I know there's several of the big cities, especially the ones that have a big Comic-Con come in. They just can't get over it and can't make the pivot. So anyway, it's cool to see Soonercon not going that way and getting bigger and bigger.
And of course, I just want to make another announcement that we've added 2 more people to our troupe named Saki and DJ Mau Mau. Also, they couldn't be here, but they will be arriving in our new radio show too. And then through all the panels we've done, was there anything special about any of the panels that you saw? Anything that happened over the weekend that really just kind of like made you laugh when people like our attendees?
Well, they worked me more this year. I do 2 or 3 of my own things every year, and then maybe one extra thing. And this year I said, I'm really trying to do more hosting and that kind of thing. Even beyond Star Trek, not just a Trek guy. And I did. I was like mock Chris Hardwick at this worst book ever panel where people were kind of it was kind of a game, but we had suggestions from the audience, and the authors did it. Selena, you never know what's going to come out of her mouth, Toast Mistress. And that was a lot of fun, and there was some dead times, so you had to kind of vamp. And we only had about 12, 13, 14, maybe a dozen people in a little room for that. And that would have been great on a bigger stage. But we had a lot of fun with that. And that was Friday, and it kind of kicked things off that way. And I feel like it's always a blur. You start off Thursday night and Friday thinking, I'm going to do this, and see all these people. And you do have your old reunion high hugs, and then you get to know new people. And I wound up with more panels and less table time. And so it's a little bit of a blur, and it always goes by fast. But just crazy awesome. I'm sitting here trying to think. Goofy things. And then I had we had like a quick draw with the artists Saturday morning that was a little slow to get going, and it was the thing where the audience yelled. We give them a situation and they yell things out, and the theme for this was alien robots. And so everything that they drew as tag team wound up going into the charity auction. But it was out on the indoor stage that sticks out into the corridor. So it was kind of like being, like the mall with the junior high chorus at Christmas or something, and everybody kind of run is going by, and you're kind of trying to have a show and compete. But it was fun. I mean, everything's been awesome. I think one of the coolest things is I brought a Star Trek Continues, our web series. It's Vic Mignogna's web series and all the family that he's built, and I've been thrilled to play McCoy twice and then be a creative consultant after that. And I had a poster. And a lot of times we'll get together, and I had a poster signed, and I'll take them to charity auctions and things. And I had one from episode 4, and we put it in the charity auction here, but we auctioned it at the end of our screening and panel. So the most dedicated, intense Trek and Star Trek Continues people were in there. And we got $200 for it, which went to the con charity, And Leonard told me that was one of the higher pieces that went all weekend. So that was very cool. That was kind of a nice moment.
So and then so it sounds like it was pretty high, and then you were like the
no, I wasn't high enough. I was not high enough, obviously.
It sounds like they made you the workhorse of the con.
Well, I'm not complaining at all. I am not whining or complaining, because what's cool for me is when Soonercon is like double duty, because they don't care like when the air ticket is for, and I always like tack on a week and see family and friends and folks. So that's a double thing. Soonercon is not like, for me personally, Soonercon is not like any other convention, because it's Old Home Week, so I get to come see everybody and do all that too. But also it's like Soonercon, watching Soonercon. So I have this like little 3-day snapshot once a year and catching up who's gone out of business and what's the new thing and what road's torn up now and who closed that I can't go to anymore and eat there. And watching Soonercon grow. It's like I'm the divorced dad that comes back and sees the kids once a year. No, maybe that's a horrible thing. But you know what I mean? It's fun to do that. And anyway, it's great. Yeah, being here with Vic this weekend. Not with Vic, but we crossed paths and got to show everybody Continues. Vic is jumping somewhere every weekend. He's at some con somewhere, but yeah,
I've had run-ins with Vic before when he used to be over at another con, and it was never really talking. It's just more cross paths.
Yeah, but no, he's a good guy, and what he's built with Continues is awesome. And but everybody's just so. But this time, I kept winding up in things where I was really overwhelmed and surprised and gratified. People I have a meetup, kind of a little crowdfunder 2-hour show that I do to help support my documentary. This will probably be the last year because we're finally wrapping it up. But we were like crammed in our room we've had before, and we had like 18 people in the room, and just an afternoon panel I had was full. It was a smaller room, but it was like wall-to-wall people. So I don't know, either like the Soonercon grew a ton this year, or people were bribed, or I don't know what happened, but it's something like that. But it was just really, it sounds corny to say and trite to say, but it was really gratifying. People were just very cool, and anyway, I detected something different, but different in a good way. Maybe it's just the growth and everybody being whatever, but it was, it's just a cool mix of seeing all my old friends and seeing all these exciting new people, young people, people who are coming out of the closet after 20 years. You know, oh, I've been a fan in 60s, but this is my first convention. You know, those people even. So
No, that's about the same for me. I mean, I started with a Zoomicon here in Oklahoma City, and that was my first con. And I was
my
like
first con,
30,
too.
and I was like, I can finally go to an anime convention.
This is his first con.
And this,
getting pointed at. But when the first time I heard there was an anime con in Oklahoma City, I'm like, really? Really? How long ago when did it start? How long has it gone?
this
12 years. No, I don't know.
It's been around since
79.
79.
It started out as a group on campus at OU.
Oh, the OU Anime Society or something
Yeah.
like that.
And-
Oh, it's their thing. Okay, no, I remember.
Yeah, and they
But
Yeah.
what happened was you have to be a student. The guy graduated, and he was still trying to run it after he graduated, and so OU washed their hands of it,
Right.
and somebody bought it and ran it from there.
Yep. Are we pausing?
Then we just kind of, that's how, and then when I found
Okay.
out about it, I was like, there's an Oklahoma City con, and it was the weirdest thing, and ever since I've done it, I've always worked every con I've been to, and it's always a trip when I've actually had to pay for a con, and be like, $60? Can I work it? But it's been a road too. I've gotten into some really exclusive cons too for it.
Yeah.
From BlizzCon to, I've been trying to get to San Diego, but that was a hard one.
It's see, this is awesome. There's a thunderstorm going on right
Yeah.
now, and it's
Yes.
like Janet, my wife, is kind of like that's one of the things we miss. It's like when it actually lightnings and thunders in LA, and it's just a drenching off the ocean rain. When it actually, we like almost like text each other. Oh, that was thunder! Did you hear that thunder? You know, it's like seeing red dirt or something. It's kind of cool. Out of place.
I'm kind of the versus guy on our panel troupe, and I always want to know, there were a lot of Star Wars fans here, God forbid, and they
We are all one big happy fleet.
I know, right?
Okay.
All right. If you were to put any Star Trek ship against the Death Star, which one would you put?
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm the versus guy.
Are you
I'm
the guy that
versus.
invented all this? I just always laughed at. So it's like Captain Kirk and Han Solo.
No,
like,
nothing about the people fighting.
Okay.
Nothing about people fighting. Just the ships themselves.
No, I know. I don't. Okay, you really do this, huh?
Yeah, this happens, yes.
Oh, I stumped our last guest. He was like, what?
So you asked me who would fight the.
No, like which
what?
ship? Like, would you put the Enterprise or the Voyager?
Well, I guess the heaviest armed would be like the Enterprise D or E. But I love those little Facebook memes when they go, you know, in Star Wars they didn't have deflective shield. They didn't have shields. They didn't have transporters. The thing where like Picard beams over a photon torpedo and they blow it up and the whole thing, you know, goes. It's like, well, that was easy. They have lasers. We have phasers. They don't have any kind of torpedo mobile, you know, timing fuse thing. So, yeah, why not start with the best canon on-screen thing up till now would be the Enterprise E, not counting what Star Trek Online has come up with. So,
All right.
yeah,
And
easy.
No one's gonna beat Leonard Nimoy ever as a Spock.
Yeah.
But where do you rate Todd Hepburn?
Oh. Todd does a great job. It's the same thing I tried to do when I was McCoy, only Todd's even way better. It's that trick of not imitating but channeling.
Yeah.
And since the original cast didn't just play those characters, but they created them, you can't help but be torn by or be swayed by what the actors' choices were to portray them, as well as what you know on paper about the character. And you know, now there's been 7. The 7th show is about to be premiered over like Labor Day weekend, but there have been 6 out there, and you can see the progression of all the actors in those roles, and even some that have been on the periphery a little bit. But no, Todd is awesome, and I know he. Now I'm going to go into actor speak here, but he brings a lot of craft to when he does that. And when we did the, I know I talked to him right after they filmed. I mean, when I was on set, and they did the mind meld scene in Lolani, and I had already said, hey, let's do a little sit down interview, whatever afterwards, and we just came up with that time, and even then, I got him in the makeup room because they did the mind meld scene. That was the last thing of the day, kind of, and he was like just mentally drained, because of the just getting that intensity up for doing that. So it was, Todd brings a lot to all of his work, and he works his butt off with his voice work. He's we'd be well on shooting. The joke is when they're shooting is that and you'll see these pictures online in the bloopers of him. He'll be in his chair between takes. He'll be in the science chair at the library computer between takes, and he'll be asleep. And they'll wake up because he's like worked all night on all of his auditions and all of his voice work that he's got to do. So,
unique voice always has jobs.
Yeah. But I'm just, and you know what? What's amazing is I knew there were anime cons, and you guys are laughing at me now. I knew there were anime cons, but I had no idea the whole voice actor fans standing in line, like hundreds of fans for autographs from the voice actors. I had no idea that existed until I met Vic and Todd and Chuck and all those guys. I'm like, really? So it's not your face. No, I mean, and I didn't mean it like that. I just thought it was anime films like a celebration of things. And the fact that it's not your face.
It's their voice.
It's their voice. But I mean, no, I'm not, I mean, it shows a sophistication of the fandom to know who are the people behind those faces. It's just like knowing who are the directors and writers, and prop people and assistant janitors and whatever on a live action show like Trek. And not just the cast, but to know the other people making decisions that affect what you see. So that hand, but it was kind of like, oh, okay. It's almost like it really, but I had no idea of like humongoloid anime style Comic-Con type things where there are thousands and thousands and thousands of anime fans standing in line for autographs for the voice actor.
Of course,
but I know now.
One of our Des girl, actually, Todd, she actually got to meet him and was able to make him give the face of I can't believe you knew who that was. And she got him, the voice actor, he used to be on the Barney show as Mr. Knickerbocker.
I'm guessing you've seen it?
Yeah, I just a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I accidentally ran into that. And
Well, I knew from
was
childhood
happy.
watching the skit, but I didn't know it was Todd until he brought it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, but oh my god, I can't believe it's him.
Wow.
I was wanting to know during Star Trek Continues showing it, what was your favorite reaction from the audience?
Oh, the screening here?
Yes.
Well, I know that it's one of the obviously great bits is when everybody's being affected by the hate waves. And anyway, when McKenna goes in and punches Chuck and goes down. And because Vic was like, he says, here's the one thing you're going to wish you were still McCoy. It's like, who can compete to go down in the best heap, when she comes and punches him out. No, it's amazing. I mean, I saw about 2/3 of the show being filmed, and Gigi was just incredible. I mean, she was so wrung herself out to do that. It seemed like, because the parts I saw her filming were where she was bawling all the time, or she was on the edge, in like a ragged edge. But yeah, the audience reaction. Yeah, and at the end, people just ooh and ah, and like Chris's bit when he's drunk at the tube, and Wyatt does so much. They wrote Chekhov so well in this. It's not to be a punchline of the joke, but the eager beaver Chekhov was kind of cute to watch him play with that, because that plays into him being the only one of the crew who ever got away from the crew and went off on his own.
Right.
Then he picked the ship of the Damned to be part of, and so he came back. With the Reliant and Wrath of Khan. But yeah, and it was a full house, and people were awesome. And like I said, that's the crowd that bid up so high on the charity piece at the end. So it's great. It was. I mean, everybody was so warm. It continues, and even the charity thing. I work Enterprise in Space, and my Portal 47 new business, which I need to plug if you want to deep dive your Star Trek. Yes. If you want to know how much is out there that you don't know yet about Star Trek, from my 20-something years on the front lines of things with the people in the archives and the crews and all that. It's been a lot of fun, and we've had a lot of people join us lately. And it's just been launched a few months ago and still growing strong. So check that out if you want a mini con all year long, no matter where you live. So portal47.net. Excuse me, my marketing buddies would shoot me if I didn't throw that in. Yeah.
Are there any other projects that you can talk about, or?
Well, the tour's coming up. I work with Geek Nation Tours and the Star Trek Filming Sites tour. That's already done and it's shot off. But like the summer is just hysterically long. I don't know when you're putting that up, but there's so many conventions going on. But like Comic-Cons, San Diego's coming up, and Vegas, the Creation Vegas. I'm getting to go to Shore Leave this year, which is back east. Which is a Star Trek convention. It's very heavy on the book. The New York author mafia come down that work on the Star Trek books, and they're all there. And I haven't done that in 12 years. And I'm going to do this tour of libraries across Michigan in late September around Detroit, which is going to be different and awesome. But these people lined this up, and I just love something Comic-Con in Pensacola and all kinds of stuff happening. So that's good. But yeah, LarryNemecek.com for the hub, and Larry Nemecek's Trekland on Facebook, and just at Larry Nemecek on Twitter.
All right.
And you said earlier that you're finishing up a project, and are you allowed to talk about that one?
Finishing up a project.
You said you were finishing up a movie?
Oh, my document, Con of Wrath. Yes, yeah, people can still get in and help that out. About a real-life event that happened in Houston in 1982. It was Star Trek's most glorious failure. Star Trek fandom's most glorious failure, yeah. Kind of a riches to rags to riches story, a real event that deserves not to fade into history. But it was really the first arena rock show for Star Trek, and it did not quite go as it was intended. And the Con of Wrath is not my title. That's what the fans called it that weekend. Yeah.
And it's just to start wrapping everything up.
Yep, the big bow.
Yes, but we've been looking for a con to make our home, and we've really felt welcomed at Soonercon, being volunteers and meeting Larry and everyone else has treated us like family here, and we'll be hopefully coming back next year as volunteers too, and doing our thing with them guys. This is Level Up, Des Girl, and
Hi guys.
And Wonton.
And Dirty Patriarchy. We're out.
Thanks, guys.